So as we're here, right, we're always in our low stance, nice and staggered. And something that we learned this too when we went to the J-Flow seminar, something to keep in mind, because I think sometimes people aren't sure about what their stance should be. Should it be a more wrestling stance? If I'm training more judo, should I be a little more upright with my hips forward? I think a good rule of thumb is to be a little bit lower initially, because if I'm just keeping my posture up, Nick can just shoot a double right through me, right? Take my legs out, he can throw me. So when I'm in my position, right, we're circling, hand fighting. Once I get grips, then I can start coming in a little more forward, upright, hips forward, right? Because I have my control and my grips, right? So something I want you guys to think about is when we're grip fighting, circling, right? I want to go for grips with intention. What takedown are you going for? What guard pull? Right? So I really want to know, like, what's my objective? We're not just here kind of like smacking each other in the face, right? Like that could be part of it, but I want to be intentional with the grips that I'm getting, and I want to get dominant grips, right? If I can beat him, if I can intercept as Nick's coming in, yep. If I can grab and then get a second grip, I feel pretty good, right? Versus him grabbing and then me having to like strip the grip, right? And he's got control, he can snap me down. I'm always trying to move, right? We're trying to push, pull, snap down, right? Everything's gonna happen in movement opportunities, okay? So you can always push, you can pull, snap, right? Circle, okay? I can't do something in a static position. We're learning in static positions a little bit more so, but the opportunity and timing is gonna come off movement, okay? So we're here, maybe Coach Nick gets a grip. I wanna learn how to strip the grip, right? So I'm gonna bring my palm up to his forearm, my other hand's gonna come on top. I can use my thumb to get on the inside of the fat of the palm. I'm basing, okay? It's like I'm gonna do a deadlift motion. Core nice and tight. I'm gonna strip down and away. See how my head kind of pops back? From here, I'm gonna rotate his wrist and bring his hand away. I can also switch the grip and grab the sleeve if I prefer. But I don't wanna bring his hand back here so he can re-grip, right? I wanna use that for distance management. I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna get this cross collar grip. So my knuckles are right underneath his collarbone. From here, I'm gonna move him, right? We're gonna move in group, okay? All this is off movement. So when I'm ready, I'm gonna step in. We're doing this collar drag and it's just like a lateral backdrop, okay? So I need to step my toes towards his heel. I can't be far away from him. If I'm too far, when I pull for the drag, my arm's away from my body so I'm not strong. Okay, so I wanna be in close. I step, I'm gonna just place this leg right in front. You see I'm opening my hip though. I'm getting perpendicular. And then I'm gonna pull him over. Okay, so that's all gonna happen at the same time. So we're here, I've created my momentum. When I'm ready, I'm gonna step and come right on top. Okay, so I wanna try and get to a knee on belly. I can get down to side control. I wanna control him though. If he pops back up and I haven't controlled for 3 seconds, I don't get takedown points. Okay, so just think about that for those of you who compete or wanna compete. It's good to understand that. He can pop up and we're back from standing. Okay, so I did all that work. I couldn't control the position. We're back on our feet. So we're here, right? Yep, he gets the grip. I'm gonna practice my grip break. Core nice and tight, strip down and away. I can grab the sleeve. I've got this cross collar grip. I'm gonna step forward and come right in. Even if I get into his guard, I still get my 2 for the takedown, okay? So he can also land in turtle. Maybe I'm, a little slower, like we get here, okay? I've got this sleeve grip, which is nice, that I can use to kind of redirect him so he can't turn into me, but then I can let go and come up right away to control his hips, okay? Now another option, and I kind of prefer this one, but even if he's got this grip, maybe I can't strip the grip. I'm gonna come under and on top, so I'm getting a double grip, okay? The hand on top is the one that's pulling towards my hip. So remember, I'm stepping and pulling him in front of me. I have to pull my elbow back like a row, okay? So here, same thing, I can snap him down, push into him when I'm ready, come right up, okay? That one I went a little towards my back. I really want to try and stay to my hip, okay? What I don't want to do, unless I'm like I want to pull half guard, is this, where he can come into a flattened position, right? If I do pull half guard, I can kind of steer him away so I can get my knee shield in, and it's a more dominant half guard, right? But what I also don't want to do is just pull him, and clear your leg for a sec, pull him into side control, right? So if you're not confident with the collar drag, it could end up in a bad pull, or it could end up in a nice like half guard pull, okay? So one more time with the double grip. Maybe I can't strip this. I'm coming in, breaking his posture right here. Come in and, okay? Any questions? Let's give it a shot. 1, 2, 3. I'm not gonna do this as like Nick is stick straight, right? This is the same thing. Like I've gotta move him, right? To then go and off balance. Like I can't, it's gonna be really hard to move someone that's like a statue. So I've gotta like create that energy and that movement, right? No matter how I'm gripping, I'm snapping down, moving, right? Boom, boom, boom. There we go, and I come up right away. Okay, I don't wanna get stuck on my back. Also, when I'm going for this move, I'm stepping, and when I'm bringing my leg out, okay, I don't know the best angle for you guys to see me, but I'm not keeping my hips facing Nick, okay? I'm turning my hips away so he goes in front of me. It's like he's going over my leg like it's a hurdle, okay? So not here. If I stay here, hips talking, I'm guarantee I'm gonna pull him and he's gonna come right on top of me, okay? So I wanna get him out of the way, over me where I just was, okay? So the next one we're gonna talk about, this is one Jay taught me. I like this one a lot. This is if we're in this neutral position, we both have these same kind of matching grips. And I can feel like Nick is strong. I can't strip the grip, right? So I'm like, man, I got my grip. We're gonna use this grip to help us go for like a drop single. So what I'm gonna do here, I can't try and weave for an underhook by just reaching my hand over and through, okay? That's just not gonna work. It's not gonna be smooth. And guys, remember too, like even though we're in the gi, like I'm still using my head, right? Like I wanna get on the inside, move and groove, right? So what I wanna do is I'm gonna circle with my elbow. Think about making a bicep curl. If we're not square, like you can see I'm a little staggered, okay? I want to square up so that I can bring my elbow in. Okay, I'm gonna trace his arm with my elbow. So the elbow is the lead. Okay, so I need to be close enough to him. I'm gonna come in just like that. You can program this, okay? Once I'm able to bring my elbow in, I'm going to do 3 different things. This hand, it's not gonna reach from here, but it's gonna hug his leg. I'm gonna make a quarter rotation and drop to my shins, and I'm gonna pull, bringing that elbow to my hip, just like we did in the collar drag. So what I'm gonna do here, all at the same time, I'm gonna hug, fall in the quarter spin, just like we did in the quarter drop SAO a couple weeks ago, and then pull the collar. Okay, so we're here, and then I continue to rotate. My hand is behind his leg. I can use this to open him up, or I can even grab his bottom leg, right, or knee, or pants, because we're in the gi, and open him up and flattening him out. Okay, I'm showing you this in steps, but once I fall, I want to continue to rotate. I'm going to use my head and open him up so I can flatten him out and I don't have to deal with his guard. Okay, so we're here, right? Boom, boom, we're moving around. I'm like, man, this guy's got a good grip. I'm going to shuffle in, here, and then just continue to drive through. But I want to have a little more rotation on it. If I kind of just stop, right, and we're here, he can also push me back. Yep. I don't want to end up there. Okay? So I've got to keep going. Okay, so one more time. We're here, boom, boom. I'm gonna square, boom. Continue to drive and open. Use this arm to open him up. Okay, using my head to pin and flatten out. This collar is so important, right? Without Nick, I'm here. I'm gonna shuffle, shuffle, and continue to drive and rotate. Okay? Any questions? Partner has to have that grip. Okay? Let's give it a shot. 1, 2, 3. So we're gonna talk about pulling guard for a second. I was showing this at lunch today, and Abby's like, why are we pulling guard? What's that? And I was like, listen, if you don't like to pull guard, you at least need to know how to deal with somebody who pulls guard, right? And what to look out for. Because if somebody's pulling guard, that's usually my sign knowing they have a really good guard and they're confident they can sweep me or submit me from their guard, okay? So also as the person that is like if Nick was pulling guard on me, right? I don't want to just settle to go into his guard, right? I need to fight to keep my posture and defend that, okay? So this is why it's really important to learn how to pull guard. In a lot of rule sets, right, if let's say we're detached and we're here, I can't just like sit down, okay? In some, like ADCC, I think you can, but you can also get dinged on points for pulling guard. But normally I need to have an attachment or at least a wrist grip, and then I can sit, right, and start getting 4 points of contact, and that's my guard pull, okay? So that's a little more of like a butt scoot or getting in. So I'm gonna show you a couple options to pull close guard, okay? Then I'll show you a De La Riva option to really get to the guard you like. You saw with the collar drag how I could also pull to half guard, okay? If I'm pulling to half guard though, I really wanna make sure I kind of cut an angle so that they're not just coming onto me to flatten me out right away. Okay, so what I mean by that is if I'm here and I decide to pull half guard, I used to pull half guard thinking I was Bernardo Faria and wanted to get to my deep half. So as I'm here, I'm gonna step up and I am gonna bring my leg through and bring him here. See, I cut an angle a little bit so I can get my knee shield in. I did not pull him just directly on top of me. Okay, and here, like, if I can even redirect him here, come in for the wrestle up, right, and go for the takedown. So you wanna, the intention with pulling is that I wanna get him to my guard where I can sweep or submit. I'm not just hanging out there, laying on my back, taking a break, right? I definitely wanna be lethal with my guard. Get to the guard that I know that I can do the most damage of off balancing, sweeping, submitting, okay? And listen, if I have like a D1 wrestler in front of me or like high level judoka, I'm probably gonna opt to pull. It's always good to have this in your arsenal, right? You're always gonna have like a few takedowns that are your go-tos that you really like, but then having a guard pull is really important too, okay? So we're here in this neutral position. I'm gonna show you how to pull to close guard 2 different ways. So if I come in, I'm gonna place my foot on the hip of the side that he's got my elbow grip. Okay, some people will say not to pull to that side because he can swap my leg. So guard pulls, I'm also not just trying to do from static. And it's really hard to do if he's totally upright. I need to still break Nick's posture, right? I'm gonna drive in, I'm gonna look for timing. Because if I'm just here telegraphing and put my foot up, he's gonna swat it away or catch it, right? Same thing, real quick side note, I'm glad Coach Nick did that. If I had his single leg, let's say I got a single leg and he pulls guard from here, I get the 2 because I had his leg, okay? He would have to clear this and then pull, exactly, right? He's gotta be separated. If I have his leg, that's me initiating, okay? So he's gotta make sure he doesn't just like, oh, you know what, they've got my leg, I'm just gonna fall back. He's actually gonna give up points for that, okay, in a tournament. So we're here, I'm pushing, pulling, right, moving, waiting for my opportunity. I'm gonna step in a little closer, and then I'm gonna do like a single leg squat as I put my foot in his hip, You see how I'm breaking his posture? I kind of pivot a little bit to the side because then I want to swing myself in and get momentum. I'm not totally locking out because then it's really easy for him to just push my leg off, right? So I want a little, I want a little bend. I want to be sticky. See how I have his butt back and his posture broken. My elbows are to my hip, okay? If he starts posturing up and bring his hips forward, I'm in trouble, okay? So we need to always break the posture. From here, I can do a couple things. I'm gonna now use this foot on the hip to step on him and lift my hips as I swing in. I can start getting a nice high close guard and break him down to his knees. I might need to shoulder walk a little bit too so that he'll fall on his knees, okay? Or on this side, I can now use my collar grip to punch as I use the elbow grip to pull the arm towards me, and then I can come in with a nice arm bar, okay? And go for the finish there. So even though he could potentially swap my leg because his hand is free, it'll give me the arm bar option, okay? If I do the other side, it's a little more secure because he can't swap my leg. So I can do the same thing, right? I'm gonna come in, boom, climb up, right? So I had tension first, but then I use it to lift my hips towards him to then close up my close guard, okay? Not to say you can't just fall backwards, but sometimes if I'm just falling back, I feel like I can, yeah, exactly. Or he can go into a knee cut. So I like a little bit of that angle. Right here, now I have control. I can even get to De La Hiva, right? Start doing fun stuff there. I can switch my grips, right? Whatever I want. Okay, does that make sense? So I'll do it one more time. To each side, we're here. Boom, pushing, pulling, still waiting for the opportunity. Come in, boom, here or here. Right? Or go into a nice De La Hiva. Always breaking the posture though. I don't want him to start posturing up. And then the other side, same thing, boom, boom, step in. See how I'm lifting my hips so high? Then I can shoulder walk, right? I can even force this arm still, maybe, right? Okay. Any questions? Let's practice some guard pulls, guys. 1, 2, 3.